Hello there, here are 10 tips and tricks to help you win a fight in Minecraft PvP. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Use the knockback your opponent takes from hitting your shield to get some good hits in. It'll be easier for you to hit them since they'll have the high ground for a bit. This works even better if your opponent is a fast clicker. Your combos will be more effective and you can even use cobwebs to immobilize players this way. Tip number 2. After hitting a player, they're invincible for around 0.5 seconds. We can change that, however, by jumping and critting at a high CPS. This will ignore the hit cooldown and allow for high amounts of damage very quickly. I'll call this trick fast crits for the sake of the video. This tip is especially effective for winning trades, quick dropping people in cobwebs, and killing players right after their totem pops. Tip number 3. This next tip is rather simple but important. Strafing will make it more difficult for players to track you in a fight, more so while you have speed too. Strafing at the start of a sword encounter may also result in you getting the first hit more often. Tip number 4. When you're gapping in Bedrock, you can have up to 8 Absorption Hearts unlike Java where they cap at 2. Focusing on eating the maximum amount of gaps can be beneficial for trades and preventing quick drops. However, you'll find yourself running out of gapples very quickly. Tip number 5. Again with gapples, it's a lot more ideal to eat them when you're far from your opponent. Unlike Java, Bedrock's regeneration is a lot slower. Bedrock's natural regen is half a heart every 4 seconds. Even combined with the regeneration effect from a gapple, your opponent's damage output will heavily outweigh your healing. Tip number 6. You can use projectiles to help you get a free hit due to the extra knockback as seen here. Tip number 7. Ever find it annoying when you can't predict your opponent's shield? Here are the most common shield timings. Number 1. Shielding at the start of an encounter. Number 2. Shielding after healing. And number 3. Shielding after being hit 2 or 3 times. Tip number 8. When a player disables your shield, they'll take less knockback than hitting your shield once, but they'll temporarily be unable to strafe. Use this window to counterattack effectively. Tip number 9. In Bedrock Edition, you can pot up with the full effects of potions while moving. Do this by sprinting and looking straight ahead while throwing your pots. This is a good way to outlast your opponent if they pot up by simply crouching and throwing potions on the ground. Tip number 10. When purling away, you generally want to purl at different times depending on how your opponent plays. If you're playing against mobile or console players, you can exploit the fact that they cannot click fast enough to do fast crits usually. Therefore, short purling and then healing at 5 to 6 hearts will do. However, if your opponent is a keyboard and mouse player who's very aggro and utilizes fast crits, it's pretty much over for you if they know how to shield disable well. What I would personally do is purl at around 8 hearts and then web bubble before healing. If you purl away too early from an aggro PC player, they will still have enough health to chase and quick drop you. Now that you reached this part of the video, here's a bonus tip for you. Tip number 11. If your opponent happens to not touch grass at all, use an M249 machine gun to mow them down. Anyways, if this video was helpful and you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like these type of videos, and I'll be making more of them in the future. Alright, see you next time. Bye bye.